Just wait till you see the grand finale. This is our February 2025 farm tour. This is the first farm tour that I've done this year. If this is your first farm tour to watch, I do farm tours of our farm, Froberg's Farm, here in Alvin, Texas. And I do it for several reasons. The first and most important to me is that I do it because I have 3 sons. And I hope one day that they will want to do this as well. And they'll have an electronic journal to be able to go back and look at and see what we were doing, when we were doing it, and why we were doing it. And of course, I like showing all of you. So we're starting our tour in our greens field. So this is our 3rd planting of mustard greens this fall winter season. And they look good. We just got done cultivating, and then we got a nice shower on them, which is always really nice. I always like looking at the rows from this angle. They just look really pretty. This is a field of cabbage. Doesn't look great, but we have picked a ton of cabbage out of this field, right? It's not always about how the field looks, but the quality of what you're picking. This cabbage was direct seeded and then cultivated once, but it was already kind of big when we cultivated it. So the weeds and stuff growing underneath the plants weren't taken care of, but it didn't bother it. We've been picking off this for probably 2 months now. And just as the heads get ready, we pick it. And we'll see some of this cabbage in our market later, kind of see how we pick it, how we market it. But yeah, you know, again, don't always judge the field from how it looks. Judge the product. This was our 2nd planting of mustard this season. We've picked over it pretty heavily, but we picked a lot of it, which is nice. This got snowed on last month during the worst winter storm that I have seen, or at least the most amount of snow that I've ever seen my entire life here. But some nice little mustards. And then we have some collards and some more cabbage here, freshly cultivated, looks good. This was all direct seeded, but the spacing's pretty good on it. We'll be able to come in here and harvest these pretty good. Some notes about January 2025. We started picking strawberries really early this season. You know, well before Thanksgiving, we started picking strawberries. As the new year started, the weather got really cold. We covered and uncovered and uncovered and uncovered a lot. And then we had an event that dropped 3.5 inches of snow. Pretty intense for our area. It's not ideal to have, you know, grown strawberry plants with ripe fruit on them covered with snow-covered blankets. But we made it through it. We'll go take a look at the strawberries here in a minute. This is what happens whenever you don't work a field for a while. You get some pretty gnarly weed coverage here, but these are turnips, and turnips really don't mind a lot of weed competition. And so I'm not displeased. We actually picked some of these today. We went through and picked the really big ones. So, you know, I'm not saying it's a great way to farm, but these turnips certainly don't mind it. If you've learned anything from watching this part of the tour, it's, look, farming is not always beautiful and perfect, right? Sometimes it looks less than ideal, but if you're getting the result that you want, then it's okay. Now, we took the time this year to mulch our fig orchard. We have a bayou that runs right here on the property. The greenhouse is right here, and this is a fig orchard. And so we pruned all of our figs. There's one right there. This is a younger orchard, only I think 2 years old. But we did all of our fig trees like this. I just think it makes a really big difference. It really helps during the summer. So of course it's going to help with, you know, weed competition in here with these figs. But what it really helps with is during the summer, if we do get dry, it's going to make sure that this mulch will hold on to a ton of moisture and give it to these figs. Plus, I think it looks really nice. Makes the orchard very clean. The guys are going to come through here actually in just a couple of minutes and pick up these big logs that come out of the mulch piles. That way we don't hit it with a mower. Let's take a look at the greenhouse. For all you frequent watchers, there's Nicholas, a crowd favorite and longtime team member. But Nicholas, you're graduating this year. Sad faces.
Yep.
Sad.
The farm, sadly.
But your brother will still be here.
Yep, he'll be here one more year until he graduates.
Oh man, what are we gonna do? So this was our first year to raise tulips, and so we did a lot of experimenting with tulips. And one of the things that we did was we potted a bunch of them to sell in the store. They look pretty. We have a few in the store that will look at, but these are further iterations of them. We're gonna do several cycles to make sure we have a constant supply. And then we have about 2,500 blackberry plants. This is to plant our new block of blackberries, as well as have a few blackberry plants to sell in the store. And then of course, strawberry plants to sell in the store. They really look good. We're really happy with the way these turned out this year. Now we did figs two ways this year. We buried some like we normally do in the sand pit. And then we did some like most other people do, just as propagating wood in pots. We did 4 to a pot. And so far so good. You can actually see some coming out. Let's see. This is the South Carolina lemon fig. This is actually one of our favorite figs. So you can see them coming out like that. So it's really wet outside, so we're all working in the greenhouse. Kiko's potting up tomatoes. We got Carly here, who's a Pearland FFA member. She is, what are you planting, nasturtium? Edible flowers, which we had a whole talk about. And then we have, of course, Adalia, the greenhouse manager, and she is planting yellow squash. And this is yellow squash to sell in the store.
Yes.
It looks good. It's our little system here. We got some potted up potatoes to sell in the store. We got, this is our little germination chamber here. Tomatoes, and we got all sorts of stuff. Chives, herbs. We got a few things to plant in the field. Once it starts warming up, we like to use transplants in the field. Some bok choy for the field, some lettuce. It's good. These are all potted up tomatoes to sell in the store. So it's a really wet day, so it's really hard to get out to the chicken farm. But I did get some footage earlier in the month when it was much drier. But the new flock looks great. They're really, really coming along. And the older flock looks good. And we're building a schooner, right? From the mobile chicken house. So it's I think they call it their 600 or their 800, something like that. But it's a completely mobile, automated broiler house, raising broilers on pasture. It's really cool. We're not done building it yet, but with another 2 or 3 days of working, we should be good. Very wet, very wet. Here's a strawberry field. We did experiment planting some tulips in some plastic here, which has turned out to be very successful. As you can see, you get really nice consistency. Anywhere that doesn't have the tulips where we picked them, but you can see like the color is beautiful, the consistency is nice. I could see if you were going to grow them like for cut flowers, this would probably be the way to do it. We got our strawberry onions. They had snow on them and they're still thriving. And then we have the berry crop this year. So far so good. Again, this crop has been through some trials and tribulations. We actually pulled up 22,000 plants here because of a little strawberry virus called Neopy. I would Google it if you're watching. We think we caught it in time. Did we need to pull them out? Maybe not, right? There's some experts with some treatment options and stuff like that. But at the time, we couldn't risk infecting our entire field. Especially with the way the plants were performing. The plants are just falling apart. The fruit wasn't very good. the plants themselves look terrible, and we felt it was the best decision to go ahead and pull them out. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna come through here and cut out all the dockweed and stuff, and then we're gonna plant squash. We've already planted some potatoes and sugar snap peas. We're gonna plant some green beans, all for our awesome customers to pick. Here's some Camino Reals blooming like crazy. You can see nice little white specks scattered in the field. And fun fact, especially if you're my 3 sons watching, this is the first crop that I've taken over solely on my own. For everyone watching who don't know, my uncle retired last September, and so of course he's still a mentor, and I have a huge team of experts around me in my corner, including my uncle. But he is running for county commissioner, and so this makes this my first crop to take over solely, and it's been awesome. It's, you know, of course it's had its trials and tribulations. Having a season with 3.5 inches of snow over them is not ideal, but still very exciting. Hello, sugar snap peas. This is also the first year that we grew the Froberg's Farm Frostberry. And up until the winter storm, we were picking a ton of them, and they were selling out every day. But right now the plants look like they're just gonna be covered in fruit, but there's no fruit ready. So we've had some strawberry plants in the store. They've been popular. Folks are still buying tulip bulbs. We're still getting some really nice pecans. It's always popular this time of the year. We do have our homegrown turnips. We just picked them earlier today. And then we have our homegrown cabbage. This is how we pick the cabbage here. We like to leave these leaves on the side, really give that homegrown look. Lets everybody know, look, this cabbage is fresh. It was picked this morning. And our mustard. Eggs are crazy right now, so we've been staying pretty much sold out of eggs. We start every morning with fresh eggs, and they disappear quick. Got our milk section, old dairy section. All of our yummy pickles. All the girls are staying busy in the bakery. They've been dipping strawberries in chocolate for Valentine's Day. And of course, making pies and all that fun stuff. Here's some tulip plants in the store. They're pretty. It'd be perfect for Valentine's Day, I think. It is almost time for a chicken restock. We'll have a round of broilers that'll be ready to go in about a week. And chicken sales have been very good. Everybody's loving some pasture-raised chicken. We even made chicken broth. Here's Mrs. Farmer Froberg getting ready for Strawberry Festival, just around the corner. We even have a Valentine's Day box. All the yummy stuff. Strawberry preserves, yogurt pretzels. The famous cherry licorice. Our Strawberry Festival starts March 1st. So we've been trying to slowly but surely get ready. We'll start moving stuff around and hanging strawberry decorations up and getting everything lined out for it. Okay, it's time for the grand finale. This year was our first time to raise tulips. So like I said, this is our first year raising them. We tried to do it right. We tried to do ryegrass in the middles, nice clean beds, the beautiful flowers. We're just, I don't know, we're tickled. We're so happy with the way it came out. We just feel like it's beautiful. Now, is it a perfect tulip field? No, not at all. This is our first year doing it, and we're on the Gulf Coast of Texas. These things are not supposed to grow here, but we did it. Sometimes we'll literally just come out and just enjoy the flowers. I mean, it really is like, I don't know. It's just not a look that we're used to on the Gulf Coast of Texas. Now it's a little wet on this side of the field, but again, so pretty. Look at the yellows. This is the field you could see from the road. So that yellow kind of travels. You can see it from a long ways. Just so happy with it. Now I'm biased, but I feel like this row looks like Holland. Like this row, everything is just perfect. We planted it right, a good density. You can see it's nice and full. Well, I greatly appreciate everybody watching. If you liked the farm tour, make sure to hit that subscribe button. And if there's anything specific that you want to see on the farm or maybe learn more about, make sure to leave it in the comments.